We got our basic mirepoix here: celery, onion, carrot, rosemary, had a garlic split in half, peppercorn, some salt and pepper, and our chicken stock. Now, if you're anything like me, or if you just have integrity, you like making as much from scratch as humanly possible. Not a big fan of opening ready-made boxes or bags and calling that cooking. However, this day is already stressful enough, and there are some shortcuts I'm willing to take. Store-bought chicken stock is one of those shortcuts. This is Knorr stock cubes, which you can't really see because it's out of focus, so sorry about that, but anyways, that's what it is. Moving on to the star of our show, and the way we get our delicious turkey flavor without roasting a whole turkey: turkey necks seasoned liberally with salt and pepper. I know these aren't much to look at, they're a bit phallic and frankly intimidate me and make me feel like less of a man, but what they lack in appearance, they make up for in flavor. We got our pan on the stovetop, hot, heavy, and ready to sear, and then we have our chicken stock off to the side here, just kind of hanging out on a low heat. We have about 15 cups of liquid here, which I know sounds like a lot, but trust me, it's going to go pretty quickly. Now, right about now, you might be saying, "Brendan, can't you just use the turkey drippings from your turkey on Thanksgiving Day to make gravy?" And I am all like, no, because I brine my turkey. What's brine mean? I'll explain it later. When? Sorry. Anyways, I brine my turkey, which while yielding a deliciously juicy bird, doesn't do much in the way of drippings. I make my gravy this way for 3 reasons. 1, I can do it ahead of time. 2, I can still brine my turkey. And 3, it's one less thing to do on the day of. Now goodbye. With our pan ready to sear, we're going to add some olive oil, then sear these bad boys until they have a nice color on them. If you see your pan drying out or starting to smoke a little bit too much, just add a little more oil. Now remember, color equals flavor, so we want a nice dark brown here. If you see this, put it back down until you see something like this. Sear those necks up real good till they're nice and dark on all sides, and then add to our stock. Cover them up and cook them for about 90 minutes. Now we have a chance to impart a little bit more flavor on our vegetables before we add them to our stock by browning them in a pan first. I'm just going to show you my setup here. I am going to do these all in the same pan, but I'm going to do them in batches so I don't overcrowd the pan and cool it down. I got my seasoned vegetables here, hot pan ready to sear, and then a bowl up top here to put the veggies in once they're done searing. Alright, so again, hot pan, olive oil in, we'll put our onions in flat side down first, get some nice color on there. That's what we're looking for. Flip them over, get them on the other side, a little more olive oil if you need. And then in with the garlic. Watch the garlic a little more carefully than the onions. They don't brown up and caramelize. They burn and get bitter. In with the carrots, same thing. Look at that nice sear. Yes, that's what we want. Same thing with the celery, and then once they're all in the bowl, you can throw in the peppercorns and rosemary before it's their time for the big show. Our vegetables go in. Make sure you get all that goodness in there. Push them down as much as you can. They're going to float to the top, but just push them down as much as possible. Throw the lid on and set your timer for 60 minutes. Once the timer goes off, take the turkey necks out and keep them aside. Save these things. You can pull off all the meat and freeze them, use them in a soup, a sandwich, or whatever you want. There's good meat on those bones, and there's a lot of it. Strain your stock into a sieve, and I like to do this right into a measuring cup so I know exactly how much liquid I have, which helps me gauge how much roux I'm going to need. Keep in mind that you may have to do this in a couple of batches. Now get in there with a wooden spoon and start stirring stuff around, especially the carrots and garlic. They'll really push through the sieve. Get in your soup, flavor it, and even thicken it up a little bit. And just scrape it off the side when you're done. Sometimes I'll use a rubber spatula. Now that our stock is strained, it's time to start thinking about how to turn this into delicious gravy. And to do that, we're going to need to thicken it up a little bit. There's a few different ways you can do this. Old chef I used to work for used breadcrumbs. Sounds good. People use cornstarch, but I don't think that adds much in the way of flavor, which is why I like to use a roux. 1, because they're really fun to make. 2, they add a lot of flavor. And 3, they make your kitchen smell delicious. Now I have about 15 cups of liquid, which means I will need 1.5 cups of butter and 1 1/2 cup of flour. Toss your butter in a pan over medium heat, and once that's melted, add your flour, and then get comfortable, because this is going to be your life for about the next 40 minutes, so throw in some headphones or something like that. It's going to take about 20 minutes to get our roux where we want it to be, so whisk, 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 and eventually it'll get a little bit darker, and then darker still, and then darker still, and we are ready to add to our stock. Now when you add this, it might spit at you a little bit, so just keep that in mind. I like to ladle a little bit back in the pan and stir it just to kind of make sure I get everything in there. We put a lot of hard work into this roux, so let's not let any of it go to waste. And again, whisk, 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 whisk. In fact, whisk for about another 20 minutes. Gravy will start thickening and even getting a little darker in color until it has a nice silky consistency like so. And once you get to about this stage, congratulations! Your gravy is ready. It is not too thick, it is not too thin, it is delicious, and when you run your finger through it, it should look like that. Well, folks, I hope that we have helped you reduce a little bit of stress from the big day by showing you how to make this component a few days early and with a method that I don't think is too complicated. If you have any questions, comments, or just think I left anything out, let me know and I will do my best to fix it. Hope you have a great holiday and enjoy.